It seems Ripple's lawsuit with the SEC may not be over actually, as new information just came out. A new coin is up 23x in the last week, and did Coinbase just get hacked for hundreds of millions of dollars? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning guys, happy Friday. Bitcoin is more or less in the same spot. It seems like we're pretty much just going to be consolidating for a while, and most likely over the weekend. I don't expect too much to change at this point. It seems like after this huge run up, we do need to consolidate for a bit. So most likely, I think we'll probably chop over the weekend in the same-ish area. But even if we do come down here and have a sell-off, anything above 97,000 is still totally fine. As long as we don't start closing below this box here around $96,000 on a daily candle, anything above there is totally fine and a great area to pick up more altcoins for a pullback. So anything above this level is still completely fine, but I do expect we'll probably continue to chop around this area for a while. What I most likely think will happen is we chop for the weekend, and then maybe Monday or Tuesday or something, we somehow take out these wicks down below, we take out all these stops, and then we continue higher. Something like that is probably the most probable case in my opinion. But even if we do come down here, that's still totally fine around $98,000. We do need a little bit of consolidation, at least underneath these highs, before we can push up and then, take out these all-time highs and make new fresh highs. And when we do eventually close a daily candle above $106,000, I think we'll be going to new all-time highs very soon. So anything above this area is still totally fine for Bitcoin, but I think we're just going to need a couple more days at least of consolidation. So don't get chopped up in the meantime. Then starting off, we have Lark Davis saying global powers are all in on crypto right now, while everyone's distracted by the price action. Take a look at what's happening around the world. The largest crypto investment transaction ever happened, with Abu Dhabi state-owned investment company MGX AI casually dropping $2 billion into Binance. Russia is opening crypto to wealthy investors and is using Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT to bypass sanctions for oil trades with China and India. Bolivia's state energy company is now approved to use crypto for fuel imports during their dollar shortage crisis. Metaplanet Japan keeps adding Bitcoin to its treasury, now holding over 6,900 Bitcoin. When countries and corporations are accumulating this, what do you think happens next? We also have a thread here we posted where crypto just surged, but is the rally over? Will the markets retrace and get back some of the gains, or is this the calm before the next breakout? I think it's the latter. Let's unpack what signals you can't ignore. Now, if the market retracement has you worried, you're not alone. But before you hit the panic button, let's take a logical look at what this pullback means. Good signs from the ETH BTC chart. So Bitcoin registered another higher high without any considerable retracement. There are two higher highs and one higher low, and this means we need one higher low above $94,000 to establish an uptrend. ETH BTC hit its lowest point in 6 years and bounced. This is just an indication that altcoins are ready to rise. So historically, when ETH bounces or when ETH pumps and Bitcoin dominance goes down, usually we get an alt season. So we're almost on that. We're almost there. We're almost on a verge. So you can see here in the 6-year time frame, ETH has finally bounced from a level. It seemed like it was just only going down forever, but it's finally bounced against Bitcoin. Now, if we take a closer look at history, the 2021 altcoin rally was kickstarted with a 17% weekly candle, followed by a sideways week. The 2025 alt rally, if happens, has started with a 34% bounce. Ethereum has been suffering for a long time, and this bounce is a huge relief. And if we check Bitcoin dominance as well, dominance is falling rapidly. It didn't hit the 72% resistance and is ready to give a mid-season alt rally. There are 3 continuous bearish candles on the daily time frame, which is the cue for an alt rally. That means right now, Bitcoin price action is bullish, ETH price action is bullish. ETH made a 34% gain on Bitcoin in a week, which is 2x that of the 2021 bull run, and Bitcoin dominance is falling rapidly. So we can see here the Bitcoin dominance chart, it reached just about 66%, it's now down around under 63%. So it is starting to fall, and that's what we need for an alt season to take off. So to summarize, fear and greed are at sustainable levels. Overall sentiment is bullish. Bitcoin is below the hold zone. Usually hold zone is longer and sideways price action, and this means Bitcoin can pump a bit more. And the global money supply is growing rapidly in 2025, and Bitcoin can catch up soon. However, Bitcoin is looking to enter the hold zone and can move sideways in June and July. There are possibilities of good retracements too, as we see now, and altcoins are primed to outperform Bitcoin during this time. Be ready, DCA in the correct coins, and always book profits. So Bitcoin overall and the whole crypto market is looking good. It looks like we're just going through a little sideways consolidation for a bit after this huge run up. We also have Crypto T saying 4 companies invested $2.55 billion in Bitcoin in the last few days. MicroStrategy $1.34 billion, Nakamoto $710 million, Metaplanet $200 million, and GD Culture $300 million. So a lot of people are starting to follow the MicroStrategy pathway of accumulating Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And then moving on to Cardano, we have Charles Hoskinson confirms the Midnight Token airdrop will be retail only, excluding VCs and prioritizing everyday users across multiple chains. We also have Lucid saying Cardano is about to skyrocket. ADA is undergoing a complete reevaluation after becoming the chosen smart contract platform for securing trillion-dollar digital commodities and RWAs. This is the biggest inflection point on the ADA chart since 2021, a supply shock. Now, overall, Cardano is looking pretty good. Basically came down here. It seems like it, came just down to this area here around 74 cents, which is what we were expecting. It wicked down here and now it's coming back up. So overall, I think Cardano looks pretty good. I think we probably could get a little bit more sideways consolidation over the weekend if Bitcoin just kind of chops around. So anything around here, around the 74-cent range, I think is a good buy for Cardano in the near term. If you're gonna, long this or you want to accumulate it, it looks good. It's making these higher highs and higher lows, and it looks like it's in a good uptrend. So overall, Cardano looks great to me. I think it's going to blast through this next level when Bitcoin finally starts to take off and makes new all-time highs. We'll be above 85 and a dollar pretty soon for Cardano. CoinEx is one of the best exchanges you haven't heard of. Like Gate.io or Mexi, they offer a lot of coins, but more importantly, they offer the high-quality coins you want. In fact, over 1,020 coins and over 1,500 different markets are available, so it's a lot of access. CoinEx has active spot and futures markets, and this month there are 2 different events if you trade in CoinEx Futures. First, from May 16th to May 19th, you can get a piece of a $10,000 random airdrop. All you have to do is trade at least $100 worth on CoinEx, and you can get a little extra USDT added to your account, and just for trading, which you're already doing anyway. And then from May 19th to May 29th, we have a much bigger prize pool of 100,000 set tokens, which is CoinEx's native token. Here you get to apply what you've learned, and if you trade at least $1,000 in CoinEx Futures, then you qualify. Everyone who qualifies earns something, while the winner gets 7,000 set tokens. And if you haven't noticed, SET has had a great last 12 months, up 68%, and that's about the same return as Bitcoin in the same period, so it's a nice coin to earn as a reward. So take advantage of CoinEx Futures offers to learn and earn more rewards. Start today by setting up your account on CoinEx and earn your part of these 2 different prize pools. Click the link down below for more information. And then we have the newest trend in crypto. So we have MC Mong saying, what is Launchcoin on Believe? So Launchcoin is a launch platform on Solana that turns attention into capital. You don't need VCs, you don't need a full product, you don't even need a dev team. If you've got an idea the community vibes with, you can launch a coin in seconds and start getting funded by the crowd. What makes this actually different? You don't need to fill out forms, pitch a DAO, or chill in Discord for days. Just post on X with Launchcoin, your coin's ticker and name. Believe does the rest, it launches your coin, and it sends you the link back. It's permissionless launch powered by the timeline. The barrier to entry is 0, the barrier to relevance is you. Why it's perfect for the cycle? We're in a season where a clean ticker plus good memes is $5 million plus a seed and a half-built protocol. Community first launches over stealth mode decks. Pumpability matters more than product market fit for now. Yeah, Pump.fun can launch hundreds of coins per day, but Believe is Twitter native and has no accretion cap. The virality engine is your post. But let's talk about its drawbacks because there are a few. You don't own the token infrastructure. Believe launches everything for you. That means they hold the back-end power, possibly including mint authority or freeze access. It's not really a true transfer of ownership, like if the private key has been exposed, it's exposed, and you can't undo that. No instant full payout, founders receive funds in stages, not upfront, designed to reduce rugs, but also kills the classic pump and dump rhythm. So that is Launchcoin, which has taken off, 23x over the past couple, over the past week, really, over the past couple of days. And so it's skyrocketed to what is now around 20, just under 22 cents. So is this good for the industry to have basically a new Pump.fun? It's hard to say. I mean, I think Pump.fun arguably set back a lot of the altcoin season for what would have been, gains across the other market with the low attention just pumping into new coins all the time. This is a slightly better. There's less rugs. There's more of a time. More of a longer tail, I guess, for some of these coins. But I think we're in the continued meta of just new coins launching all the time and pumping and then getting to a couple $100 million and then selling off like crazy. So unfortunately, that's where we are. It's not ideal and it's not what I would prefer, but unfortunately, that's where we are right now. And so it's important to keep up with these trends. And so Launchcoin, and when it launched on futures on Vibe and all these, usually when a coin launches on futures, it then sells off. So and that did the same thing. So when it launched on Vibe, I think it sold off like 15%, but it was up a massive amount. So it's sitting here just around 23-ish cents right now, up massively still from the lows. But you can see here we only have the Bybit chart, which is only a couple days old here. But that is Launchcoin. Hard to do TA on it right now. It's up massively if you look up the entire CoinGecko chart. You can see here So up massively still, but I think this is probably the new meta we're gonna have to watch out for. I've been hearing a bunch of different coins being launched with Launchcoin, obviously. It's a lot easier to do. All you have to do is tweet it, basically. And so that is the new meta, which I'm sure we're gonna be covering a lot more in future videos as these coins pump like crazy. So that is the latest meta so far. And now we also have Ripple's settlement blocked. So Judge Torres just rejected the SEC and Ripple's joint request to finalize their $50 million settlement. Both sides agreed, but the judge said no. So here's what happened. So the Ripple and SEC wanted to end the case. They cut Ripple's fine from $125 million down to $50 million, killed the injunction banning Ripple from future violations, refund the rest to Ripple, close the appeals. Simple, not so fast. The judge denied it, but why? She said they used the wrong legal path. They filed under Rule 62.1, used when a case is on appeal, but what they were really asking was to vacate a final judgment, and for that you need Rule 60. This wasn't just about money. They asked her to erase an injunction she already issued. That's serious business. Courts don't just undo final rulings because both sides agree. They need exceptional circumstances. Ripple and SEC didn't even argue that. They didn't even cite Rule 60. So what now? Ripple has three main options: refile under the correct rule with a strong justification, split the request, modify the fine, and leave the injunction, proceed with appeal, and risk everything. This isn't over, it's just a misstep. The bottom line, even mutual deals can fail in court if you don't follow the right process. Ripple still owes $125 million for now, and the injunction stands, and the SEC's case is technically alive. Legal chess isn't over. And then we have Stuart Alderati, who is Ripple's chief legal officer, saying nothing in today's order changes Ripple's win, i.e. XRP is not a security. This is about procedural concerns with the dismissal of Ripple's cross appeal. Ripple and the SEC are fully in agreement to resolve this case, and will revisit the issue in the court together. So overall, it's not like, I don't think it's the end of the world, but maybe the fine will be a little bit higher. Maybe something will happen. But it seems like the judge doesn't want this to be as easy as it could be, even though the SEC and Ripple have agreed to, cut this. So overall, XRP, nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary in terms of price, just the normal sell-off. We thought it might come back down to this level again. It basically did that. And I think this next level, it'll probably break through this next level of resistance at 260 very soon. Maybe over the weekend, if Bitcoin goes sideways, altcoins will have a chance to pump. So it's very possible that happens. But usually we don't break these resistances on the first time. We have a slight pullback, get some momentum, get some liquidity, and then pump through. So I think 260 is coming very soon for XRP. And then soon afterwards, probably this next level of resistance around $3 is coming pretty soon. So overall, XRP still looks great. And then lastly for today, we have Coinbase, and this was the biggest story yesterday. So Coinbase, cyber criminals bribed and recruited rogue overseas support agents to pull personal data on over 1% of Coinbase's MTUs. No passwords, private keys, or funds were exposed. Prime accounts are untouched. Will reimburse impacted customers. More here. So essentially, Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, had a video responding to this, and here's what he said.
Hey everyone, I want to make you aware of a disturbing email that we received recently at Coinbase. It was a ransom note demanding $20 million in Bitcoin in exchange for these attackers not releasing some information they claim to have obtained on our customers. Now, we like to do things transparently here at Coinbase, and so I'm going to respond publicly to these attackers by saying no. We are not going to pay your ransom. In fact, I have a few next steps in mind that I'm going to share at the end of this video. But for the rest of you watching, wondering what happened, we did an investigation here, and these attackers have been approaching our overseas customer support agents, looking for a weak link, someone who would accept a bribe in exchange for sharing some customer information with them. Now, our support tools have limited access to customer information. There was no passwords or private keys or funds accessed as part of this. But customer support agents do have access to personal information like name, date of birth, address, etc. And attackers still want access to this information because it allows them to conduct social engineering attacks where they can call our customers, impersonating Coinbase customer support, and try to trick them into sending their funds to the attacker. Now, unfortunately, they were able to find a few bad apples. Our systems are designed to mitigate the impact of something like this, so less than 1% of our monthly transacting users had their records accessed, but this is still unacceptable, and I want to tell you what we're doing about it. So first, any customers that were socially engineered as a result of this incident, we're going to reimburse them. There's more details on our website, on our blog post about the reimbursement process. You can read more there. Any customers who have been impacted by this or have been notified at this point. Number two, we're hardening our systems around customer support to make something like this much more difficult in the future. And third, we're actually relocating some of our customer support operations as a result of this. But the last step is maybe the most important, which is that instead of paying this $20 million ransom, we're turning it around. And we're putting out a $20 million award for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of these attackers. For these would-be extortionists or anyone seeking to harm Coinbase customers, know that we will prosecute you and bring you to justice.
What now is crazy is Coinbase fell 4.1% after the company said it expects to pay up to $400 million from the cyber attack. What was even crazier is it was just added to the S&P 500 like a day before. So it got added to the S&P 500 as being one of these huge companies. So now everyone will have it in, their portfolios if they're holding the S&P 500. But what's crazy is, they did this. And so it pumped, this is the pump on the S&P 500 news from around, what is this, $208 all the way up to $265. And then had what is now a 7% sell-off in pre-market after this news of having to potentially pay $400 million in, different, paybacks to customers or whatever. So overall, this shouldn't have happened, but I think Brian had a pretty decent response to it, but it's not ideal still, obviously. KYC is the biggest issue in crypto. But right now, Bitcoin is looking decent. Anything above $98,000 is totally fine. But I think we're probably just going to do sideways chop for the entire weekend on Bitcoin. Maybe some altcoins, some lower cap meme coins, whatever, will probably pump over the weekend. But I think Bitcoin ultimately just goes sideways. Maybe we have a little scam dump down, take out these wicks, and then continue higher in the next week or so. I think ultimately this resolves higher, so don't get shaken out yet. Anything above $98,000 is still totally fine. So yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on Monday.